to me, everything's about the truth. We, as researchers and diagnosticians, we seek the truth, and we also seek the root cause of things. I think medicine nowadays, unfortunately, throws Band-Aids and pills at people when it's really not what's the root cause of what's going on with their problem. And so medicine has gotten to the point where people don't have time to get to the root cause, so they just soon give you a pill and a patch and a Band-Aid, when actually, you know, if you would get to the root cause, which it is time consuming, you can solve the problem and lead to a better outcome. But the truth, both in finding the truth and speaking the truth, is sort of a guiding principle that I go by. And one of the reasons I went into academia, this is important too in my opinion, is that it's one of the few places where I envision, I guess I'm altruistic. In academia, you can speak the truth. Yeah. If you can't speak the truth in academia, you know, one would think that you'd have more difficulty speaking the truth in the corporate world. And I felt like, you know, going into academia, we could speak the truth. And I'd say most of the time you can. Certainly in a lecture classroom you can, but when you're dealing with administrative policy, they may not want to always hear the truth. They, you know, because there's other things that influence the decision. You know, economics often drive decision making heavily in the United States. One of the things that I wanted to do was to impact the future generations. I view myself as a multiplier, which is a book that's been written on leadership. But, you know, as a multiplier is one of the reasons I went into academia too, because what I teach, you know, goes out multiple generations, and in fact, it impacts multiple people. And that's another reason why. So I went into academia because of the truth and speaking the truth and seeking the truth, but also because you can be a multiplier as opposed to a practitioner seeing one patient at a time, and they can affect one person at a time. I can affect 65 practitioners who are going to see 60 patients a day, and the effect is multiplied. You know, to me, it's helping the next generations, not only the students, but the faculty too. I've helped a lot of faculty over the years. I enjoy that. I let them know that my door is wide open to them to, you know, for counseling or advice or research mentorship or whatever. You know, I offer a perspective and advice. I've done that twice this week, for example, with faculty who are not necessarily in the division. And I view it as, you know, I'm the division chief, so I'm a leader. I'm not the highest leader, but I am a leader. And as a leader, you know, my job is to train the next generation of leaders, and as a teacher is to train the next generation of providers. If they can provide the level of knowledge and skill that we seek, and the next leaders are capable of leading the college, then I'm proud of all that. I dedicated a lot of my time to the American Academy of Oral Medicine and helped them achieve specialty recognition this year. So they're the 11th recognized dental specialty. And that was a 50-year quest, of which I spent 30 years in a leadership role, working, well, volunteering on behalf of the American Academy of Oral Medicine, getting them specialty recognition, which many of the members thought we would never get. And so this year, we just got announced in a few months ago. So radiology got recognized in '99, then there was a big gap between that and 1963 when endo. So there wasn't a recognized specialty for 36 years until radiology got recognized, and then the door shut again until last year dental anesthesiology got recognized, then we got recognized, then oral facial pain got recognized. So, but I wrote that application. I'm very proud that I was able to contribute, and you know, and it's one of the things too that a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, I spent a lot of time doing that. So I gave up the opportunity to spend more time doing research or other things because I was willing to dedicate my time to the academy. And that's one reason why I went into sort of oral diagnosis, oral medicine. It gave me the opportunity to do all these things at any given time or on an equal basis. I had thought about going into oral surgery in specializing or possibly endodontics or, you know, a specialty field. And then I kept saying, well, then I wouldn't be able to do these other things that I enjoy doing. And so it's been nice that I can just move from field to field to field to field. I tell people that I'm one of the few people that could, you know, diagnose your tooth, restore your tooth, take your tooth out, take the pulp and the DNA out, isolate the DNA, and tell you the genetics too. You know, I have the capacity to do lots of things, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, the good side is, you know, it allows you to go whatever direction you want to go in. The bad thing is that people can think when you're starting off in your career that you're not very focused. A lot of research is around being known, quote, known for something. You need to be tied to a disease class. A classic scientist is known for, you know, they work in this field. And I've been able to put a foot in multiple fields and still be able to publish, but it's been difficult to get research dollars because, again, people can judge you as like, well, you're not really dedicated to this one field, so you can't possibly know as much as somebody who's dedicated their whole life to that field, which may or may not be true. One of the things I'm trying to do this year is trying to integrate behavioral change both within the bureaucracy and within our providers and in clinical care through nudges, as described by Richard Thaler, the Nobel economist, Nobel Award winning economist. Well, the other thing that we're working on is still salivary biomarkers, and we're analyzing data from a study funded by the Delta Dental Research Foundation that looks at how salivary biomarkers can help us identify patients that have periodontal disease from those that don't. And the data there is fascinating, in my opinion. So it's problematic because dentists haven't gone to that yet because it's not economically feasible and it's not efficient yet. But basically, I can identify a patient as periodontal disease from a drop of saliva. You know, we've published multiple papers on that. We have another paper that we're finishing up now that confirms our data, and I'm proud of that too. You know, as people ask, well, what are you proud of? Well, they've shown in science that a lot of publications written by scientists are not replicated by other scientists. So they're hard to repeat. So they don't know whether the experiment was done correctly or not, or, you know, what's going on there. But our experiments, every time we run these, time and time again, these same biomarkers come to the top.